Welcome in to the Wednesday, October 8th edition of the Saints Insider Podcast. And guess what, guys? We are finally going to talk about a win on this here podcast. It has been a long time since we got to discuss like some real legitimate positive stuff about the Saints. I am fired up for this one. Yeah?
Yeah.
Monk?
Yeah. Did you notice the locker room on Sunday, how much better it was? Guys were like sitting at their locker for like extra minutes waiting on us to talk to them.
Yeah. There were a ton of people in Monday's locker room. That never happens.
Yeah, everybody was. So look, everybody's happy right now. The town seems a little more vibrant. Then we'll see if they have a second line parade this weekend or not before the Patriots game.
See if the crime goes down. That kind of happens sometimes when the Saints are rolling. So
people are tipping more.
A couple. What was it last year when they started out 2-0, and there hasn't been a murder in New Orleans in 3 weeks. Anyways, guys, we're going to quickly remind you that Saints Insider is sponsored by Bank Plus. From small business to big business, home loans to bank anywhere technology, Bank Plus is here for New Orleans. New deposit customers can reach out today to learn more about incredible rate specials. Learn more at bankplus.net, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We are going to talk a little bit about whether or not we're buying stock in the one win the Saints have recorded this year out of 5 games? We're gonna look into that game. We're gonna try to decipher what was real, what was not real, and then we're gonna go into some other stuff that we've been writing about, some stuff that we are going to write about and report this week. But first, foremost, Rod Walker, are you buying stock in some of what you saw from Week 5, 26-14 win against the New York Giants?
I'm gonna buy a little bit of stock, not a lot.
You're gonna buy your penny stocks?
Yeah,
That's right.
I do see. They're 1-4 now. I do see a path to 3-4, which would be insane. But I'm not saying it's going to happen. But I'm just saying I think they have 2 winnable games coming up that messed up that. I think New England and Chicago. I think those are winnable games. I'm not saying they're going to win them, but there's a path to 3-4. So I'm buying a little stock. Yeah.
You're not buying penny stocks. You're buying dollar stocks. Matt, how about you?
I'm buying a little stock. I think the biggest stock I'm buying is Spencer Rattler is so good at avoiding sacks, which was just not his MO at all last year.
He had like almost 9% of his dropbacks were sacks last year, which is one of the worst.
And
rates
it wasn't.
in football.
And even in college, he played behind decimated offensive lines there, but. Man, that's a real improvement, and you don't see it that often. So I'm legitimately impressed. I think he's really improved in that area. He's playing smart football. I don't know if the defense will, they're not going to force 5 turnovers every week, but I think if they can get 1 or 2, the team will be a lot better. So, yeah, I'm buying a little bit, mainly Spencer Rattler's ability to not put these guys behind the chains, I think, can be a positive week over week, but I still need to see a little bit more until, we'll talk about the Patriots game later this week. But
can we put the word forced fumbles in quotes because Jackson Dart, one of them was not forced. He forced it upon himself. Yeah.
Brian Braziz was forced. That was a true takeaway.
DeMario.
Yeah, DeMario had a good one. I think you could buy into the young youth movement we're seeing, and that Spencer Rattler's a part of that. Just naturally, these younger players should be improving with more reps, and I think we're seeing that with Rattler. I think we're seeing it with Kendre Miller. These younger players that are starting to get on the field, there's reason to believe they're going to keep getting better and buy into that. But there's a lot of factors that went into that game, the biggest of which I think was the Giants just aren't very good. They didn't have probably their best player, and they were coming off a huge win. And you have a rookie quarterback syndrome where they always play well in their first game, and then they come back to earth, and it's exactly what happened. Exactly. So let's see going forward. That what happened on Sunday didn't surprise me at all.
I'm with you. I'm not buying stock in this team yet. I think they are who I thought they would be coming into the season. I picked them to beat the Giants last week. They are a team that has been competitive. Throughout, which is kind of what I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be scrappy. I thought they'd be a little bit feistier on the defensive side of the ball. The thing that has been, I think, the biggest pleasant surprise, if you want to call it that, is I think they're playing real, legitimate offensive football on this team. Kellen Moore clearly knows what he's doing. and he's got these guys playing, Spencer Rattler specifically playing at a level that is allowing them to be competitive even against teams that are like out of their weight class, which is a good thing. But like before I'm gonna buy into it, like really, really buy into it, like I mean they had one touchdown.
Right.
One offensive touchdown in that game. And it was on a 87-yard play. Like you wrote about this week. They're, I think, leading the league in 10-plus play drives.
Yes.
Which is, I think, a function of Kellen Moore calling smart offenses and getting Spencer Rattler to play within the offense. But, like, they are not finishing these drives off. And against better teams than the Giants, who may be in the discussion for the number 1 overall pick next year, like, you've got to find a way to come through in those clutch situations. So, like, I think they're right now the Saints are, you can see the arrow pointing up for them, but it's going to take a little bit more than 1 week against a bad football team for me to really buy stock.
Yeah, how overgrown is that path to 3 and 4, Rod? How many sticker bush?
No, it's pretty unlikely. But I don't know if I'd be. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. But I just do see that if they can somehow carry some of this stuff over, they'll, maybe they can. I don't know if I think New England is really good. So I mean, that's going to be tough. And Chicago, obviously, with Dennis Allen's good. But I just think if they can carry some of this over, and if they keep creating these turnovers, I mean, I think it could happen. But it's going to take like another perfect storm like that, I think, for this team.
Yeah. It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible for them to be 3 and 4 by the time they're coming back from Chicago. But I think they're going to have to play a little better than they did on Sunday.
And I'm saying that I'm not going to pick them in either time. But
so much for that path.
Okay. Let's look back into this Giants win. Okay, so like we've said, the Saints forced 5 turnovers. They forced them on 5 consecutive drives. Their offense was fine, right? They didn't run the ball like we were expecting them to, but I think Spencer made up for that by playing a pretty efficient football game. There was some stuff from that game that is not so good. We'll talk about that later. Special teams has continued to be kind of a disaster for this team right now. But look, 26-14, they not only got a win, they got to win by double digits. When you're looking back at this game, and Rod, we'll start with you. What do you look at from this game and be like, that's real, that is something you can count on for the rest of the year?
I think I'd probably go with them just not turning the ball over. I just think they've been consistently doing that well throughout the season. I mean, I think they have, 3 turnovers? Was it 2 interceptions and a fumble?
One interception.
And 2 fumbles.
Yes, 1 fumble at the end of the San Francisco game, and
yeah,
I think there's another fumble in there.
I think they recovered
the
one at the end of the San
Oh,
Francisco game.
yes, sorry.
The Kamara fumble and
Kamara did fumble.
Kamara fumbled, yeah.
And there's another one somewhere.
Either way.
But anyway, I mean,
they're
I think they're taking care of the ball. They're like a +5 in turnovers this season, which is really good. They can continue that. I mean, I think that kind of gives you a chance. Penalties are still, it seems like they're having them at the beginning of the game. Then they kind of seem to fix it a little bit in the second half, I feel like. So I think they've gotten a little better in that category. They're not the worst team in the league anymore. I mean, they're like 5th right now, I think. So if they can keep trending in the right direction in those 2 categories, I think it helps them out. It makes life easier for the offense. So
if you are consistently on the positive side of the turnover margin, you're going to, at the very least, be competitive and more often than not win some games. Matt?
I think what's real is Kellen Moore has shown in a willingness, or he's been able to fix one area each week that it gives, that I think is a positive sign. Like, even though they didn't, the explosive passing game was not like completely fixed last week, but to get that 87-yard touchdown, I think was a really smart way of taking advantage of laying the table for it in terms of, going heavier personnel packages, kind of baiting the defense in and fooling them by sending Shaheed on that deep route. But the week before that, getting the running game going, cutting down on the penalties, it feels like each week they're fixing a mini problem, even if it's not completely solving it. And so I just have been encouraged by the way that this coaching staff goes about identifying problems and trying to fix them.
I'm just like right now getting ready for, if they were playing on actually like a national football broadcast, like the weird graphic of like cartoon Kellen Moore just like putting out like mini fires in the house. That'd be great.
I'll tell you the other thing, and this is a little more intangible, but I do think this team's still kind of bought in. I mean, I didn't like the effort and energy in Seattle, and I think that's led to some of that result. But since then, they've responded very well. The last 2 games they played with a lot of effort and energy. They're into it, and I think that speaks highly of Kellen Moore and the staff. And it'd be easy to kind of throw up your arms and say, we're 0-4, but that's not how this team's playing. And so I don't think they're going to have a hangover this week is what I'm getting at. I think that will be real. That'll be important because New England's going to come in here, go one of 2 directions. They could either be a little complacent after that big win, or they could be, hey, man, we just beat the Bills on the road. They could have confidence. So I think they're going to have to maintain that energy and effort the rest of the season because the talent deficit's still there, and they're still playing with a lot of young, inexperienced players.
I want to ask you about something because I'm not sure where I land on this. The Giants came into that game with just this defensive front that they've just poured resources into. They trade for Brian Burns. He's the NFL sack leader. They draft Abdul Carter in the top 5. They draft Kayvon Thibodeau in the top 5. You've got Dexter Lawrence, who's making $20 million plus a year, Pro Bowl defensive tackle. They did not record a sack against the Saints. The Saints had 32 dropbacks. Is that real in your eyes, or is that like?
Well, the tackles I think are real.
Tackles, yeah.
Yeah, those young tackles are real, and I think Matt's point's really good. I mean, when I rewatch the games, I forget sometimes how nimble and elusive Spencer Rattler. I mean, they'd have a lot more sacks if he were maybe Tyler Shuck. You know what I mean? I mean, he's gotten out of some free rushers that have had him dead to rights, and he gets out of it. And I don't think I saw that from him in the past. So I think that's a big factor here. And I think it's one of the big reasons why Kellen Moore went with him, to be honest with you, because I think he knew, we're not going to be great up front. We need somebody that can kind of buy time and extend plays. And sometimes it's not anything more than him getting back to the line of scrimmage, and avoiding a negative play. Those are big plays to keep them on schedule. So I think that's real. But also think it's just one game. I want to see more. And I think their interior is still a problem. The interior offensive line's definitely a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
other than Eric McCoy.
I think Simpkins plays with great effort, and Kellen Moore said that he's everything that they want in terms of play style, but undrafted, he really went through the ringer in this first game, his first true start, and I know Pro Football Focus gave him a 0 pass block grade. He was a little better than that,
yeah,
but
he was better than that.
He still had some really tough moments, but that's, to your point, Jeff, you need your young players to play and grow, and he'll learn from this. I do think this team has the right makeup right now.
I do think that, to Jeff's point, Spencer as somebody who can get out of trouble, he reminds me a little bit of Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. In that,
Oklahoma.
No, I mean, there's just moments where you're like, how did he get out of that? And he's not this super sudden athlete. They like to say he's a lot faster than his 40 time, which I think is true. He's played.
It's the way Breeze was.
It's played out. It's played out with him as a runner. It's played out with him getting out of sacks in the backfield. So.
Yeah.
Breeze mentioned.
Phone booth quickness.
Yeah. So I think that's been a big part of that, in my opinion. He was, according to Next Gen Stats, which I think these stats are skewed sometimes because they do it all by GPS tracking, so it's really when somebody's close to him. But according to Next Gen Stats, he was the most pressured quarterback by percentage in the NFL last week. But still 0 sacks. Rod, do you have anything to say on this before we move on?
I thought I already did, but
my bad.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Well, you started over here and we went around, and I can't even remember what I said. So
yeah, no, we're all good. Let's move on.
Yeah, we can edit that out.
I'm the backup host.
That's why we got Norm.
I'm the Tyler Shuck host. Okay, so all right. So, what do you think when you're looking back at this game? What stands out to you as that's not real, that's not repeatable? Obviously, we're going to get into turnovers. I mean, 5 turnovers in one game, that is going to be a high mark for this team this year. Probably, we're not going to see a bunch like that. Maybe though, we can see is that something that you can see them maybe being a little bit consistently better at? After the first 4 games, they were not forcing turnovers very well at all.
I can see it happening. I mean, there's that cliche about how turnovers can be contagious, and maybe I think these guys do have a little. I mean, I think they're going to be going after the ball even more now, and I think some of that could possibly carry over. So, yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I could see somebody like Sanker
for sure
contributing a lot to this. That guy's a stud. What about you, Matt? Is there any you can go with turnovers or anything else from this game that just like stands out to you as that's not something they're going to be able to carry over week to week?
Well, I think it's going to carry over week to week, but on the negative side is like that tight end the Giants had torched them, and that's been a problem. Theo Johnson, your favorite.
Yeah.
Picking him up off the wire like right before
half hour before kickoff.
I just think like that's been a huge problem for them in the past. Dalton Kincaid had that really big catch near the end of the Bills game. Like, I think that's a position that can specifically hurt this defense, and so that's something out of this game that I'm kind of keeping my eye on. Is all right? Did the Giants find maybe a new way to attack the Saints, even more so than teams had been? Like, the Saints did get a little lucky with just like the way that the turnovers went. Even one of them apparently was like on Sanker's fumble recovery was like a busted coverage, a little bit. And so, those things happen, and it's great of Sanker to have those instincts to make a play. But yeah, it's just I don't see 5 turnovers happening every week, and I see tight ends being able to kind of exploit this defense a little bit more.
One thing though. And this is just like devil's advocate. Justin Reed missed most of that game.
Sure.
I think Kincaid had that really nice play, but that was like Carl Granderson in coverage on that.
Well, they do that.
They do, but like I think we'll see Reed back this week.
Yeah.
And I think Sanker's proved to be really, really good, both as a run defender and as a coverage player. I think I'm less worried about the tight end stuff than I was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, Trey McBride didn't have a huge game against them. 49ers non-Kittle tight end had a nice.
He had a couple nice plays,
nice catches.
But like, I don't know. I mean, Theo Johnson did. He did have the 2 touchdown catches, but I think after that it was, one of them I think was a coverage bust. He was wide open in the back of the end zone. I don't think that was a. I don't know. I'm willing to believe that they can get much better in that area, but we'll see. You might be absolutely right.
Well, you're going along the same lines I'm looking at is, PFF had them with their highest coverage grade of the year by far, and I did think they covered well as a whole, but they're not going to face that kind of receiving core in the future. I mean, no Malik Neighbor.
Darius Slayton and Wendell Robinson are nice players, but not as like
right. I mean, I think people are going to exploit it if they have to keep going with. Jordan Howard and Quincy Riley. I mean, people are going to take shots at him. And look, say what you will, great play by Terrell Burgess, but that should have been a touchdown. I mean, that was 10 yards behind the secondary, bad pass, So, yeah, give him credit. But if Dart gets that same play, I bet 10 games from now, I bet he hits it. So that helped enhance their coverage grade. So that could have been another explosive against them very easily. Stephon Diggs comes in. He looked like he was a man possessed the other night, obviously playing against his former team. Now we'll see if he can play with that same level. Keyshawn Butte's actually emerged as a really good number 2 receiver. I think Hunter Henry's a solid tight end. We'll see if they can have that same kind of coverage against a team with probably a better quarterback.
Definitely a better quarterback. Yeah. We will get better. We will get more answers on that.
I was going to say something about the quarterback. Like Jackson Dart, like in the first half, he was able to like run and make some, I think he had 50-some yards rushing.
Right.
So I think there's quarterbacks that can move like that still kind of give this team problems. It didn't hurt him Sunday, but if he had kept on like he'd done in the first half, it could have been a really long day for this team. So they're gonna have to get a handle on that as well. But we've been talking about that for 5 years now. So.
Well, we'll see if the big bugaboo from that game, special teams, is a mirage. We'll chat about that later in the show. First, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll discuss some of these young players, and we'll discuss that special teams unit. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Banking has come to a crossroads. Do you want to bank with an actual bank, with actual people? One that you can walk into or drive through. Get real help from a real person. Or do you want a bank that lives inside your phone? A digital bank that gives you control of your money anywhere, anytime. Well, why not both? Bank Plus, a partner in your corner, wherever that may be.
Did they ask you to do the commercial too?
Yeah, but they just gave me one line.
Bet like a Caesar. Like, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna tell them how Caesar's Sportsbook is just so easy to use that you can watch and bet thousands of sports events, even some NFL games.
They'll probably show us betting on our favourite players and teams at all the Vegas hotspots too.
Like, we have time for that montage.
I told him I couldn't do it.
They couldn't afford me.
Welcome back to the Saints Insider Podcast. I am Luke Johnson, filling in as host today with Rob Walker, Matthew Paris, Jeff Duncan, and Norman Bell as our producer. We are going to talk about a young Saints team. Probably the first time in like 6 or 7 years you could really say that about a Saints squad. But look, they have a lot of guys right now who are playing big-time football, really important snaps for them, who are in their first or second year. You're talking about Kelvin Banks at left tackle. You're talking about Spencer Rattler at quarterback. You've got Jonas Sanker and Quincy Riley on the outside. I mean, it's a lot of young players playing really important snaps for this team. So, like, Rod, I want to start with you because this was your column after the game on Sunday, talking about this youth movement on the Saints. And this is something the team has probably had to just do for a while, and they're finally doing it now.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. We went to the locker room after the game Sunday, and you see all these people standing around Quincy Riley and Jonas. I mean, they were just, the younger guys are eating at the podium. I mean, they brought Kool-Aid to the podium.
They brought Shaheed, Shaheed's in his fourth year.
Howden.
Jordan Howden, who's in his third year.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of seeing the youth movement take place. And, I'll even throw Kendre in there. I mean, I know this is his third year, but he didn't play much in those first 2 years. So you throw him in there, he's kind of starting to break out and being who we thought he could be. So I think it's a good thing, and it shows kind of what this team is trying to build, because these are the guys who are going to, be the future of this franchise. So I think we're starting to see them make plays, and that's good to see.
I want to ask you specifically about Quincy Riley, because this is somebody that we've talked about a lot on this podcast. I know Saints fans have been really eager to see what he can do, and last week he was pushed into duty. Ike Yadam had a hamstring injury. He's out for the game, so they have to push Quincy Riley essentially into the starting lineup. They're going to be playing nickel defense a lot. What do you think?
I thought he played well, especially for his first start. And like we mentioned earlier, though, I mean, the competition definitely gets tougher as he goes along. But you want to see a guy come in with that kind of confidence right away, and I think he showed it. So I think that's a good thing. And I know he's a Louisville guy, so we'll let Jeff rave about
Well, I would say this. I mean, he's one of these guys that doesn't seem like at moments too big for him, which is you have to be at that position. It doesn't seem like he's lacking confidence in any way, which I like. He plays with a lot of passion, but there's going to be some growing pains. People are going to go after him, and he's going to get beat. It's the key is, does he have that kind of short memory that you need to have? But he definitely looks like a guy that belongs out there. I don't think he's scared in any way, when that's half the battle in this league when you're young like that. So we'll see. We'll see people go after him. I mean, he gave up a lot when he played in college when I watched him, but he also made a lot of plays, which can be good and bad.
And that's the thing. I think that's what you're going to get with him. Like there's going to be some hit and miss with him. But I like to bring up the baseball analogy with him, because it's one of the things that I think is fun about. Yeah, that's me. I'm the baseball guy. Go Brewers. That's one of the fun things about him is look, when we're talking about a team that wants to force a bunch of turnovers, like I think that's what you're going to get with Quincy Riley. So teams might go after him, and there might be a lot of games maybe where he's getting picked on and he's getting burnt and people are frustrated. But there might be 2 or 3 games in there where he makes a big play on the ball, because look, he was a center fielder growing up, and you can see that when he's tracking the ball on game day. He's a really advanced playmaker for somebody who's a 4th round rookie draft pick.
Yeah, he didn't drop very many of those. That's one thing I like about him. He was like Ty Matthew. I don't think maybe saw him drop 1 interception in his life. He just didn't. Yeah,
there was one last year hit him right between the numbers, and that was I could not believe what I saw.
Very rarely with him. So, and Sanker's shown way better ball skills than I remember being in his scouting report coming out of Virginia. He just looks like a guy that it's around the ball, and Riley's got a little of that in him too. So that's a really good sign to have two young players in the secondary that have a nose for the ball. It's promising.
I want to ask you about Sanker because, look, you're working on a story about Jonas this week. What have you learned about what the Saints saw in him as a player when they were scouting? Because he is somebody with a really interesting backstory.
Yeah, I mean, he played 8-man football in high school, and I was talking with Terry Joseph, the Saints safeties coach, about it, and he was saying that maybe that playing that where there's more space has allowed him to be a better tackler, because that's what stood out to Brandon Staley right away, is that you turn on the tape and just he's flying to the ball. And I think he's been flying to the ball in a different way than the Saints expected, with just some of his coverage on the back end. And, he was playing more of a box role at UVA, but I was talking to his UVA position coach today, and something he was saying that I didn't really know beforehand was Sanker played a different role every year of that defense. He started off in nickel, was more of your traditional strong safety. In his second year, his third year, he's more on the back end. Like, they like to use him in different ways, and he was kind of that program culture setter guy for them. And they jokingly called him the Messiah because he would always go to the coaching staff and be like, "Oh, shouldn't we do this or that?" Like, he had all the answers, and I think you're kind of seeing it with the Saints, is that he's learned really quickly, just through getting that new role in training camp to being able to step in for Julian Blackman after he was injured. He's performing at a really high level for a rookie. It's been really impressive.
Okay, a couple other guys I want to hit on. Rod, I want to throw this one to you because we've talked a lot about him, and you've talked a lot about him. Kool-Aid McKinstry, just before we started recording this show on Wednesday morning, he was named the NFC's Defensive Player of the Week. He had his first 2 career interceptions. Look, he was a second-round pick last year, 23 years old, somebody who we had really, really high expectations for coming into the season, and didn't really play up to those the first 4 games, but we saw a different player on Sunday against the Giants.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of him keeping it up now. I mean, he was going against a rookie quarterback playing his first road game. So we just got to see Kool-Aid just consistently play like he played on Sunday, because that's kind of what we expected. That's what we saw in training camp. It's not what we saw the first 4 games of the season. So, yeah, he just needs that to carry over for the rest of the year.
He's somebody who, you can see it when it's going right. Like, the anticipation is there, the athleticism is there. That second interception he made was like a freak athletic play. I think it's just for him, it's a matter of playing with confidence.
Yeah, and I don't think he lacks confidence at all. So it's just gonna be a matter of that confidence actually, showing up on game day. But I mean, he has the confidence, I feel like. And I think games like Sunday will probably, I think that'll help him and point him in the right direction.
All right, last guy I want to hit on. I want to throw it to this side. Kelvin Banks, playing like a number 9 overall pick right now, I think. 0 pressures in the last game, 1 pressure maybe?
Yeah, I think he had 0 and Fuaga had 1.
I look, there are going to be growing pains. I think he's already had little ups and downs, but I don't think at any point this season have we looked at Kelvin Banks and been like, man, that's his welcome to the NFL moment. I think he's looked like he's belonged since day one.
Yeah, he has. I mean, I think the San Francisco game is probably the closest it's been to that welcome to the NFL moment. Nick Bosa performed pretty well against him, but it's also Nick Bosa, in All-Pro. He's been a cornerstone for them, and that's why they took him 9th overall. They talked about wanting to invest on both sides of the ball, but you just need that kind of – it's so important to hit on those type of picks, and for them to – seemingly do so right away as a rookie, I think is a home run. They couldn't be more pleased with him.
Yeah, I mean, all the people that were questioning that pick, I think, are kind of crickets now, right? I mean, yeah. And the other,
I questioned it right when they made
the other thing I think
I feel like an idiot.
You don't hear anybody really even talking about him. I mean, he was the first round pick, number 9 pick of the draft, and no one's talking about him. That's one of the reasons why I want to
except this
write
podcast.
About him. Yeah, except us. But I mean, that's a good sign for a tackle, right? No one's going crazy. And look, I think when I watched him in camp, the thing that I could see where he's going to need development is his lower body strength anchoring and power, and we still see that sometimes. He can get bull rushed back into the quarterback, but against a guy like Abdul Carter, that's when you see his athleticism. I mean, he matched up very well with him, and he stoned him a bunch of times. I mean, I watched that tape a bunch of times. He had a great game against Abdul Carter. So, yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like a no-brainer, huge hit. And after you just start looking at that draft right now, once you get past like the top 10, there's a lot of guys that aren't even contributing that much. So I think they realized this was on their grade, this is a top 10 player, maybe higher on their board. And I think they're getting that kind of performance.
I mean, even if it was like a superficial storyline heading into the game, it was, should the Saints have drafted Jackson Dart with the 9th overall pick? Like, no.
Right.
Totally. Felt about it then. But I just think, like, even ignoring the Dart equation of it, like, you've got to hit on that player, and I think they did.
I think we'll get a good sense this week. Really that offensive line's playing like the Giants' defensive line. As much as we've talked about how good they are, how talented they are, it's kind of a theory at this point. They haven't really put it together this year. I think the Patriots' defensive line is really playing at a high level. Harold Landry has a bunch of sacks. Milton Williams has been an excellent free agent addition on the inside, so we'll get a good idea of them this week. All right, last thing we want to hit on today. I can't remember who it was that shared it in our group chat, but somebody shared a post with the. Is that you?
Well, Jeff did the post with the EPA.
Yeah, so it's special teams EPA, or expected points added, which is an advanced metric, and you're looking at like positive outcomes on plays versus negative outcomes on plays, and the Saints rank dead last in the NFL by a pretty wide margin, -32.
Yeah,
EPA through
close.
5 weeks, and we've seen it play out week after week, and it's been pretty much on every level of the special teams. Blake Grupe's really struggling. We saw it in Seattle. It was just an abject disaster. The return units have I think this past week was especially bad, which might have played a part in Velus Jones being released. He's one of the kick returners. The coverage units have not been good. So, guys, what is going on with the special teams? Whoever wants to take this, take it, because I don't really know what to say about them at this point.
Yeah, I think they missed Darren Rizzi. That's maybe the simplest way to put it. I know Phil Galliano coached under Rizzi for a long time. He even took over that position when Rizzi was the interim head coach last year. But I don't know. Just it seemed like Rizzi's units always had that attention to detail that maybe is lacking right now. Like, I think Velus Jones, I don't know if they cut him because of the mistakes made in Sunday's game, but he definitely made mistakes. That the first kickoff, admittedly a tough bounce, it lands in the landing zone, and then he decides to field it. But it looks like on replay, I don't know for absolutely certain, but it looks like on replay that if he just lets the ball go into the end zone, takes a knee, then they start at the 20, which still isn't ideal, but they fielded it at the 9, and then the next kick that he returns, it definitely looks like that's in his brain again, because this time he let it go and they started at the 20, but that's the ball you should have fielded. It wasn't as I don't know. He just wasn't like a solid returner, and I think they cut him based on that. And then there's the whole Blake Grupe thing and the penalties. There's just a lot going wrong right now, and I think it starts with Galliano.
And they've given up a lot of big explosive returns, right? It was Grupe who saved potentially a touchdown last week by laying out and tackling a guy 145-pound Blake Grupe, however heavy he is.
Yeah, 156 is what he's listed at.
Yeah, call it.
Look, I would say we don't know this yet, but I think we also have to question whether this is partly Kellen Moore factor. I mean, how important are special teams to him? Usually the head coach sets the tone with how much time they devote to special teams during practices, how much of an emphasis they place on them, and this could be an area that he's weak in as a new head coach. We don't know yet. We're kind of still formulating that opinion on him, but it's definitely a problem because it's like Matt said, it's not one area. It's like almost every area is a problem. And definitely Darren Rizzi is missed, but Galliano was his right-hand man, for all those times. But they also have had some changeover, you know. They've had a lot of changeover, a lot of new players on there.
They missed J.T. Gray.
But there's no doubt that the opponents were kicking away from Kendra Miller to Velus Jones. I mean, that was obviously a strategy, and they must have seen that too. Felt like if he can't do that, what's he on the team for? Probably why he was on the team.
Do you want to risk Shaheed as kick returner?
Yeah, I would. I like him. Out there, although.
What about Taysom now?
I don't think Taysom's ready for it.
I don't think he is either. I think his injuries
he's
coming
on a
back
pitch count, I think, right now anyway.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, look, they got to get better in every phase. And the kicking game in particular, you know, it's weird because, and I went back and watched the game, he's not really missing by much. I mean, it's like he's barely missing. It's not like he's completely shanking it off the side. I think he had one bad miss earlier this year, but both these misses in this game were right there, could have made. So I think they're just a hair off. And when I talked to him after the game, he said that, you know, he doesn't know what's going on. He said they're fine during the week in practice. They're almost perfect. And he said in the games, it's just something's going awry. So that's a little disturbing because I don't know how you fix that if you keep practicing.
You'd rather the other way around.
Yeah, right. So we'll see if the operation, it'd be good to talk to some guys this week if they're in the locker room, find out what they think is going on there.
Yeah, the concern for me on group is that he's missing like short field goals. I missed a 37-yarder, a 40-yarder.
Yeah. Those should be automatic.
2 of them were like 50, maybe 52 or something. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty mind-boggling when you look at how perfect he was during training camp.
He's last in the entire league, right?
Yeah. Like
he's
by
missed
a lot, like 66%.
Missed 5, yeah.
He's missed 5, which is
and the league
high.
average is 83%. So I mean, he's like, you know, he's missing like 1 out of every 3 kicks he's missing. So
it becomes a lot more stark when we're in this age where it seems like kickers are making every field goal, you know, if it's not blocked. So, I mean, it's definitely an area they got to clean up. I mean, they have to, because like we've said on the show 100 times, I mean, like the margins are going to be razor thin for this team. They're thin for every NFL team, but like this is one where if you can make up a couple extra points on special teams, like that could be the difference in a win or a loss for us.
I can't remember a year. I mean, I know we're only 5 weeks in, but where there's so many big special teams plays have kind of played into outcomes of games, block kicks, block field goals, you know, crazy. Remember the Seattle-Pittsburgh game where the guy didn't, you remember it, I'm sure, where the guy didn't field the kickoff. Like this, there's been, special teams have been huge this year. So, and conversely, the same way, I mean, additionally, the same way with the Saints. I mean, they used to always be in the top 5 in the league for years, and now they're at the very bottom. And that was an eye-opening chart of how bad they are EPA-wise.
Yeah, I mean, even if you want to just do simple points, 5 field goals is 15 points. Or, 25. Wait.
5 times 3.
It's 15.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Wow. Jesus Christ.
We drink before we come on here?
What a pretty face. Hey, we will work on math for journalists with Matthew Paris after this. But
DePaul
it's
University
Jesus
education.
Christ.
it has been a problem for the Saints. So we'll see if they can get that sorted out. I don't know. It's hard to say they will. You know, we talked last week about like, is this something that's a small sample size, and the sample size keeps getting larger, and it's still being the same problem.
he's missing them. What? 4 have been indoors. 4 of the 5. Is that right? First 2 games, and then his last game. So he's missed 4 out of his. How many he missed? 6?
5 misses.
He's missed 5.
4 out of 5 have been inside in the dome, which is
great conditions.
Yeah.
Ideal.
Or not so
one could say.
conditions. Yeah.
All right, so we'll see if they can get that figured out. Right now, it's not looking so good, but you know, 5 games still a relatively small sample size. Maybe they can get things.
Did we
turned
talk
around.
about real quick the awful call on Carl Granderson? Can we?
Oh yeah. Let's.
Is that like the worst? That might be the worst roughing call I've ever seen. Is it the worst? It's worse I've maybe seen in the last.
I have no idea what he did.
It's the worst
wrong.
one I've personally seen.
What I mean, what was the call there? I mean, what do they want Carl Granderson to do?
I think
like,
the ref
Just bear hug him?
assumed that their helmets clashed, and he just had to see something that didn't actually happen.
Because he
would be
was
my
kind of
guess.
in line with
So-
him. He was behind him, right?
Like, what's the point of having, 6, however many officials are on the field, 6, 7?
replay, yeah.
Right.
What's the point of having that many guys if if you can't have some people overrule you and be like, hey man, that's not a penalty.
And I didn't think about this. Obviously, had little to do with the outcome of the game. But I didn't think about it. It cost Carlson Granderson a sack, and that could add up to a huge bonus at the end of the year if he doesn't get it by one sack.
Yeah.
So it mattered to him, and I started looking into his numbers. I mean, his numbers are really good right now, even without that sack.
He should be second in the league.
Yeah.
But
you look also at what they call the havoc numbers and stuff, and he's way up there, tackles for loss. So he's having a really good year, and if Chase Young ever comes back, can we hit the bell on Chase Young? When that ever happens, I mean, there's some more promise that things could take off. Because we know when he's healthy, he's their best. I think he's their best defensive lineman.
Without question. Yeah, one quick thing I want to say about this, and if you were watching on WWL last night, I said the same thing on there. I think the NFL has a problem with like commodifying officiating, and with making it be way more part of a game than it needs to be. We've got the guys like Mike Pereira and whatever else who are getting paid all this money to be on the broadcast and explain these convoluted, unnecessarily complex rules and making it a thing where they are part of the game and they are part of and that stuff needs to stop. Like it is so against football. And then I didn't see it on the broadcast, but like I imagine when stuff like that happens, like I feel like 9 times out of 10 when they turn to like the officiating expert on these broadcasts or like how the official made the right call, they're like defending the call. It's like no, like take some accountability for your terrible actions.
Yeah,
like it's just it sucks. It's mind-boggling. Like you should be able to review terrible calls like that. But like we saw the NFL try to do this in the wake of the no call, or you're reviewing pass interference penalties, and like the referees were just like refusing to overturn obvious missed calls. Mm-hmm. So it's that is a problem to me, just league wide, and I don't think there's a real solution because like you'd have to like rein these guys in. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Well, I would say I've seen more of those experts kind of speak their mind and disagree with the call on the field than I ever have this year, but it's still not changing the fact they're getting it wrong.
Get them off my TV. I don't need
They're just trying to educate the public.
Yeah, but you know how you educate the public? You make the rules simpler so you don't need Dean Blandino to be like, well, according to Article 6, Section 5, subtext B.
My
like,
guys
shut up. Get off the TV.
On the Check the Mic podcast, they had a great point. They think that we've gotten too reliant on the technology. Like technology actually has gotten too advanced to where we're super slow-moing these frame-by-frame things, and that's creating problems because, to your point of like, let's just let what we see on the field make the call. Now, use that super slow-mo when you need to, like, does the ball get across the plane? Did his foot step on the line? Slow it down to the super slow-mo frame to see that. But when you're looking at like a play in action of where he caught the ball, when you go down to the super slow-mo, I mean, it can always look like they didn't have control. Or you know what I mean? Like you can freeze it and it looks like he has control. You almost need to change the play. Evaluate the play differently with the super slow-mo when you use it and when you don't, because we've gotten so technologically advanced right now, it's creating problems, I think.
I mean, sure. But I think the Granderson thing, real-time, super slow-mo, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, I would say this, though. People, I'm going to say this to sound like I'm defending the officials, but like people act like there's no accountability. There's definitely accountability. They get graded on every play, every call, multiple times. This year, 5 officials got fired and didn't come back, because they were bad last year.
Right.
Because they're great. So, I mean, there is accountability. It's not like they're just doing this.
There's internal accountability, which is different than the league coming out and saying we got that wrong, which they never do.
Well, yeah, they don't do that. They tell the teams that. They don't tell the public. The teams know.
Yeah. Well, the teams know on the field immediately.
But I know
and then they can't say anything.
They get the report.
They get that call so wrong, and then like Kellen Moore, Carl Granderson, and everybody else, they can't say anything about it because they'll get fined for talking smack on the official, even if it's wrong.
Every pro league's like that.
I know it is, but it's stupid.
Every league's going to always have that.
All right. We've gone off on this.
Delay of game.
Yeah, it's a delay game on me. Okay. This is the Saints Insider Podcast. If you like our show, subscribe, Like it on YouTube. Tell all your friends about it. Let us know what you think about the show. Guys, this has been fun. We will be back here on Friday to preview the Saints' Week 6 game against the New England Patriots. And you can stick with us until then. You can read all of our stuff over at NOLA.com. We appreciate it. I'm Luke Johnson. I've been joined by Rod Walker, Matthew Parrish, Jeff Duncan, Norman Bell, our producer. We will catch you all on Friday.
3 times 5 is 15.
15, I think.
You almost
25. No, I think it's 25.
No.